Yo, people, what's going on? Back again with another Red Talk. HAG, what you telling me, fam?
I'm all good, fam. All good, we saying.
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed, bruv. Can't complain. Another week. Yeah, I'm saying looking forward to the Champions League this week. I can't lie. Some good games coming up.
Some nice ones. I'm not gonna nah, you know what? I'm chatting shit. The nice game is next week. This week is dry.
And they got flipping aren't Leipzig playing? Who Leipzig playing? Is it Real Madrid?
Leipzig, Real Madrid, I think Lazio, Bayern Munich, City, Copenhagen, and then there's one more. There's one more
Yeah.
this week. I'm not too sure who it is, but nah, man, Atleti Inter, fam. That's the game next week.
Ooh, that's gonna be a tactical game. Flipping hell, bruv.
Mm,
Yeah, it might be a smelly one, but it'll be interesting from a tactical point of view anyway.
Yeah, that's what it is. It can go one of two ways, isn't it? Yeah, it can either be. To be fair, it's like it's differing but similar-ish play styles. Like both have got a pragmatic side to them in Simeone and Inzaghi. But I
They
feel
can
like
both score goals as well.
Inzaghi's got more firepower. But then again, I think Morata's out for the season. I might be wrong. He went
Mhm.
off the other day. He went off yesterday. Depay and Griezmann, we can do something. We can do something with that.
Oh yeah, no, that's gonna be decent. Yeah, man, ain't watching that Copenhagen. City should absolutely smoke them, even though
Mm.
it's away from home. Like City will just manage that game. To be honest, man, they probably won't go there to smash them because in the return leg they'll absolutely just City will be happy to go into the return leg knowing what they need to do at home, and they'll do it.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
City Copenhagen. I think that's one game. Like besides Man City fans, no one's watching that shit because like
Yeah.
everybody knows what the scoreline is. Everybody knows who's scoring, how they're scoring. So
Mm.
yeah, City. Yeah, nah, no one's watching that one. Then you got the PSG game, of course. I think PSG and Sociedad, which that might cause an upset. I'll be real. Like Sociedad, they're doing their thing. They even top their group in the Champions League.
Mm.
PSG, I've never been convinced by PSG, and especially now that like Messi and Neymar are both gone, and it's like Mbappe. It's basically Mbappe's team. And yo, I'll be real, eyes are on Mbappe this Champions League because he got everything that he wanted in the summer in terms of get rid of the South American clique. Safe, they all went. What you want your boys in attack in Mouani and Dembele? Sweet, we got you those as well. It's time to deliver that UCL. I'll be real.
Yeah, he ain't doing that though. Let's be real. He not doing that. It's a weird one for him, Mbappe, because it's gonna sound weird, but it's like considering all the gas that he had earlier on, yeah, I don't know. So far, like you have to look at his club career and say it's been pretty underwhelming. Like he needs this Real Madrid move. Like he actually needs it.
You know what it is. You're right. I'll be honest. Like there was a period that I think this summer would be the third summer that Madrid go in for him. I remember in the first summer, I looked at Mbappe and I was like, bro, like you got Messi, you got Neymar, like it's you. This is just the back of a Champions League final, which they lost to Bayern. I was like, listen, like maybe you can make PSG your team in it. Of course, like add a few better players and rare tear. But you know what it is now. I think that whole PSG project is dead now. Like I think
Hmm.
once Mbappe leaves, they're just gonna sell the club, and I wouldn't be surprised if they take a year, 2, 3 years out of the game, and then they go back in and sign another club. They've been there for a decade now, and
Mm.
one whole decade they've spent over £1 billion, and they still haven't. All they've given up is what, one Champions League final in 10 years. Like at 10 attempts, one Champions League final. It's crazy. So everything hangs on Mbappe. I just pray that Madrid don't go in for him. I swear that would like be perfect for me if they don't go in.
Yeah, it would humble him, and also I think it unbalances them if they sign him. To be honest, because I don't know, a lot of people won't agree with me, but I think Vinny's better. So it's one of them ones where I would not risk not getting the best out of Vinicius Junior by signing Mbappe. Like what? I guess Mbappe would get the number 9 because he's not getting Vinny 7. And where they going to play Mbappe down the middle? Like, have we seen Mbappe play down the middle for a prolonged period of time? Never. So we don't even know if it works. I would hazard a guess that it doesn't.
Wait, that means what? You're on the same boat as me because I've been telling the whole world, fam. I don't think Vinny and Mbappe work in the same team, fam.
They don't unless
Hey,
one of them takes an
okay.
L.
Yeah, it does. I'll be real. Like I've been saying it for years because it's like even when I look at Mbappe needs that like tactical, that freedom. Because even when you look at Mbappe, like throughout the years, whenever
Mm,
he was forced to play nine, was because let's be real, Neymar was a better left winger than him. Messi was a better right winger than him. He had to
mm,
play down the middle. He scored goals, like output machine, especially in that league. He scored goals, but he wasn't happy. Even his interviews and shit, he was like, I don't like having to play down the center where now I have to play in like more congested areas, play with my back to goal when out
mm.
wide, you receive the ball facing play. Down the middle, that's not really the case unless it's like a counter or something. And the only time I've ever seen Mbappe cook is when you literally put him with like that false nine profile, like that number nine that occupies centre half. So you look at him with Giroud, he cooked. You look
Mhm.
at him with Benzema when Benzema had that one tournament, he cooked. Then you look at him with Colo, he done well. You put him and Vinny, it's gonna take something out of both their games, and I don't want
Yeah.
to see like Vinny's game drop off. I'll be honest.
I think that Vinny needs to be the focal point of the attack, bro. He needs to be. Yeah, I mean, obviously Carlos said that he's the best 1v1 player in the world. I think he's the best player in the world. So bringing in Mbappe to me doesn't really make sense unless you're going to play him on the right. And we've seen him play on the right for France, but he doesn't do a job at centre forward for me. And also that means you change the formation, which means you lose something from Bellingham because you can't play that formation that you're playing right now with Jude, Vinny, and Mbappe. Or does that mean you drop Rodrigo and Rodrigo don't deserve to be dropped? Like, I just think bringing in Mbappe causes way more problems than it actually solves. Because Real Madrid's problem right now is that is not that they don't have an Mbappe. That's not their problem.
You know what it is? The whole Mbappe thing, it's so similar to when, like a few decades ago, when they signed Bex, when they signed
Mm,
Beckham, but like there was no plan to Beckham. Bro, they signed Beckham and Figo played on the right, and then it was
mm.
like
Yeah,
I
and he
remember
played
when
him inside right midfield.
like they literally had to come up with that there and then. And I always say, and I feel like the whole Beckham signing was just a commercial thing. Like it was just
It was.
he became available, and they were like, listen, like he's the star of English football. Like, who are we to say no to him? Yeah, especially during their Galactico period. But I remember, like, even when I see the interviews, it's like, even Figo was like, he was like, yo, like, he's like, when they told me Beckham is coming, I was looking in the mirror thinking, this guy only plays on the right. So,
Mhm.
what going on with me? Yeah, and bearing in mind, everybody knows what happened with the whole Figo thing, how they took him off Barcelona and everything. So, with Mbappe, I think even if they do sign him, then I think it will be a similar case to Neymar and Messi, where I think one of them will turn around in 2, 3 years' time and be like, listen, I'm not the face of this project. I want out. And I've always said, I think if they sign Mbappe, I think Vinny would leave in like 2, 3 years' time because it doesn't work having those two in the same team.
I don't think it does, and not for the better. Not for the better, man. Because there's no way of getting the best out of both of them in the same team. There's
Mm.
no way. There's no way of doing it because they both play in the same position, but they're very different profile of players. Mbappe's the scorer and Vinny's the creator. Do you know what I mean? So unless you're gonna play Mbappe on the right, it doesn't make sense. And then you don't get the best Mbappe on the right, depending on what you think the best Mbappe is. Personally, I wouldn't mind seeing him on the right because it would force him to get his head up a bit more. But he wouldn't enjoy that. I just think that it starts a problem that you just don't need it. Like, you know what I mean? You don't
Mm.
need it. Real Madrid are probably gonna win the league this season. And it's like, and then you're gonna bring him in, yeah, like to do what? It's not gonna make them better in terms of balance. Obviously, in terms of quality, depth of quality, adding an Mbappe to your squad automatically makes your team better. However, like, is it gonna be a net positive at the end of the day?
I don't think so. I think it's one of those ones where, like, on paper, your team looks better. Like on
Mm,
paper, what going to like I don't know, new camp, and then you've got Vinny, Mbappe, Rodrigo, Bellingham. I think it looks Like sometimes you don't need 11 nice names. You need three, but then you need like 8 players that like complement those 3 players, in it. It's
Mm-hmm.
just at the moment I look at it and think like Bellingham has fitted in so well with Vinny, and then Vinny's always fitted in well with Rodrigo. With Vinny, it's like sorry, with Mbappe, because they both have shown, give me like positional freedom, let me roam. That's how you get the best out of me. But I'll be real, we saw that PSG project where they had 3 players in attack that also required positional freedom. Fam, that's
Mm-hmm.
3 players out of the game.
Yeah.
You can't afford to have 3 players out of the game so they can do what they want to do. You can afford to like accommodate one, but accommodating two. And the thing is, like, this is the narrative that I see a lot of people try to throw at me whenever
But
I
you could
say this.
argue it's 3 because Bellingham needs accommodating now as well because he can't play with the freedom that he's playing with right now.
I think Bellingham at the moment, because he's playing like in behind strikers, I've always said in it, I feel like once Madrid sign a 9, Bellingham will just go back to like playing in a midfield 3 in it. That's what he'll do. But it's the only it is with Mbappe, even if they sign him and they put him down the middle, he doesn't have that selflessness of a Giroud or a Benzema. Like he might bounce the ball off Vinny, but the thing is, both of them got an eye for goal, and it's like what
Yeah.
worked so well is the fact that Benzema was selfless, so he would feed Vinny. He would drift out wide to accommodate Vinny's spot when Vinny tucks inside. Mbappe, I don't think Mbappe, like that comes down to IQ for me. It's not something I can teach because like in-game situations are so different. Mbappe doesn't have that IQ for me where it's like, oh shit, if he tucks in, let me go out wide. If he goes forward, let me drop deep. Mbappe wants to score. Mbappe wants to be the main man.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Mbappe does. That's it. He, bruv, look, while I watch him play, that's what he does. He likes to run in straight lines, runs away from the ball, and he wants to get shots off, bro. Do you know what I mean? And that's just what it is. Like the IQ's not there, and that's why for me, Vinny's better. And I wouldn't sacrifice Vinny for Mbappe, never. Because to me, it doesn't make sense. Because what Mbappe gives you in terms of goals, I'd just be like, all right, cool. Like I would make my main focus getting a number 9 that's going to add more goals instead of getting another player that plays in Vinny's position. Because to me, it doesn't make sense, innit? So it's a great problem to have if you're a Real Madrid manager. Like, how do I fit Bellingham, Rodrigo, Vinny, and Mbappe into the same team? And the chances are you can't. You can't, innit? So Rodrigo gets dropped, or you have to change the formation, which then could upset the whole rhythm of the team. I don't see how it works, innit? I don't see how it works. I think they're lucky right now that Barcelona are rubbish because I feel like that addition there could be the addition that won Barcelona the league if it was the old Barcelona because it unsettles the team. You saw what happened with the Galacticos; they didn't win Jack. Do you know what I mean? It's just that they don't really have a real opposition right now. So I think they'll be able to get away with shoehorning Mbappe into a team because they don't. What Girona's the only real competition, and Atleti kind of, but not really.
I think, yeah, but then the question is, if Madrid will go in for him, but I think the reports that I read, which are they're going to go in for him for a far less offer, for a far less bid, it does
Yeah,
make sense because like season after season they've upped their bid. I don't
yeah,
think they're going to do it for the 3rd year in a row, and I think they're now looking at their team and thinking, like, goals, we've got that.
mm,
Creativity, we've got that. Game control, we've got that. Squad depth, we've got that. Experience, we've got that. Sorry, youth, we've got that. And I think they're now looking at Mbappe and just thinking, there was a time when we needed you. You never came. But the £100 million signing that they've made has shown I can score you the goals. I can do work in midfield. Like Mbappe is just he'll always be appealing, but it's just the thing I like about Florentino Perez is even though like history shows he doesn't really swing that way, is he favors his footballing project over anything, and I don't think he'll disrupt his team to
yeah.
accommodate Mbappe. But where does Mbappe go then?
I can't lie, bro. If United were serious, they need to go in for him because they need a face of the new project. They need a serious player in the attack because we currently don't have one. In terms of where we are and where he is, it would make the most sense now to go get him. It would make the most sense for us to go get him because when he comes in automatically, he's the best. He's the best that we have, and we build the team around him and attack. That's what really we should be doing. Because when you look at, for instance, Liverpool don't have the money, and also they've got an overpowered attack. Obviously, we do need to get Champions League first, but saying that, you say that, do you know what I mean? I honestly believe that players, they over sensationalize how much they give a damn about missing out on Champions League for 1 year, bro. These man don't care, bro. Them man care about what's going into their bank account every month. That's what they care about, if we're being completely honest. Like, they'll say, oh yeah, I can't go somewhere that ain't got Champions League football. But if you believe in the project, you'll go there. Champions League makes it easier. However, do you know what I'm saying? We got Pogba and Zlatan with Europa League football. So, like, I don't think that that's a deal breaker. If the overall package is good enough, you could convince a player like that to come. You've already seen with Mbappe, if he was super ambitious and that, wanted to win the Champions League, he would have gone to Real Madrid years ago. What, did you really think he was going to win it with PSG? You weren't never going to win it there, bruv. So I don't think the Champions League would be a deal breaker for him, but I just don't think that Real Madrid is the career move for him, bruv. Not really. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. There's nothing he can achieve at Real Madrid that he'll ever get credit for. Nothing. Because they three-peated in the Champions League already. So if he goes to Real Madrid, no one's going to turn around and say, oh yeah, they done this because of him. Bro, they win leagues without you. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, what is it? Do you know what I mean? Like, look at Erling Haaland, yeah? Like, Man City didn't win the league because of him. They won it the year before.
You know what it is? That's true. Like, at least with like Haaland, it's like people always look at him and be like, the season that we signed you was the season we done the treble. So at least he'll be like remembered for that. But it's like, no, it's actually true. Like, I've never thought of it like that. Where it's like with Mbappe, like, by the way, especially if they win the Champions League this year, like these guys showed, like, what Ronnie wanted to leave, no problem, we'll win it without you. Benz, you wanted to leave, we'll win without you, yeah. And it's like, that's the thing about Real Madrid, isn't it? It's like, that's the thing that, like, I admire about them the most, which is like they're always 2 steps ahead. Because it's like, even when I look at like Luka Modric, that brother hardly plays this year. But it's like, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, if this was Man United, we would be forcing him to play at 37, 38, 39 years of age. And then once he does dip, we've got no replacement. But I'm looking at Real Madrid and I'm thinking, you men are in a position to bench a Luka Modric, which probably still walks into every team in the Premier League, because you've got the Tchouaménis, you've got the Camavingas, you've got the Valverdes, you've went and signed, you capitalized on Arda Güler costing like what, 5, 10, 15 million. You got the Bellinghams, and they're always 2 steps ahead, bro. That's why these men never ever have a fall off similar to Man United or similar to Arsenal's or similar to Liverpool's. Even when Madrid fall off, it's like 1 year and they're back.
100%, but that's because they've got foresight and they're always looking for the next best thing. Even when you look at Arda and you look at Endrick as well, my man's put players in the squad that gives future managers weapons, because they're not going to be weapons immediately. And that's what it is. They're always looking ahead. So they've gone and said, yeah, we're going to get the biggest talent in Brazil. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to do that. We're going to go and get the biggest talent in Turkey. We're going to go and do that. And then you got United signing Pelistris and Garnachos and that instead. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not making sense. And even Amad Diallo, to a certain extent, we went and spent, what, I think 40 million altogether on Amad, and we're not even using him. So it's just like, look at our recruitment. Look at Real Madrid's.
And I think, you know what's the good thing about their recruitment as well is, like, when they do sign these young players, they don't sign them at a period where they're desperate for them. Like, for example, like, funny enough, I was even saying this about Man United, yeah, because it's like when Man United signed Højlund, we were desperate for a number 9, so we threw a 20-year-old with like 1 season under his belt to be Manchester United's number 9. Real Madrid don't do that. They signed Güler, 18, yeah, like up and coming, but we've still got the experienced pros that can lead the line now, whilst we slowly
integrate them. Yeah.
Same thing with Tchouaméni when they signed him. Like, he was starting here and there, or like the Camavingas. Camavingas doesn't even start in his position on a consistent basis. One day left back, one day deep, one day more advanced. Why? Because they got the Valverdes. They've got these players, and I feel like it gives them a lot of time for like their players to understand the league, understand their teammates. That's why when Goulet does become a starter for Madrid, he'll cook. When like that's what it is, and they don't rely on the youth that they sign from day one. They give them that
No.
time to adapt and grow. Man United, fam, it's what 2024, and Man United, like we are relying on Garnacho, we are relying on Hoyland. When another team would look at Garnacho and be like, listen, I'm gonna have the 24, 25-year-old right winger that's doing the job now. You can do cameos, you can play here and there. Let me see how your development goes. Man United just Kobe's the perfect example, fam. Like Kobe's 18 years of age, starting week in, week out. That's not really the case at another top team. Like
He should not be playing the amount of minutes that he's playing. It's
I
scandalous, bro.
agree. Yeah, I
You know
agree
what I
with
mean? It's scandalous, and it shows you just how bad we are. It shows you just how bad we are. And this is what I say, yeah. Like, as much as these man want to talk about these Man United players, like, out, bro, listen, not only would our rivals not be touching most of our players, yeah, but how many of these men are going into other teams, yeah, in the league, yeah, and playing as many minutes as they're playing for us? That's crazy. When you actually look at like some of the stuff that man are having to look at right now, bro, it's actually scandalous, bro. Because our front three is the worst front three in the league, and if it's not, it's in the relegation zone. It's in the relegation zone in terms of how good they are, bro. Because when you look at someone like a Nottingham Forest or a Luton and that, bro, their attack's as good as, if not better than ours, bro. Like, it's crazy. When you're looking at West Ham, bro, the man got Kudus Paqueta and whoever, Antonio, if
Bowen.
Antonio's fit. Do you know what I'm saying? Or Bowen. That's better than us. That's legit better than us, bro. Like, that's what man need to understand. And this is why, yeah, it's like, as much as man can talk about the manager in terms of style of play and all these other things, what's upset me the most about this guy is, yeah, our squad looks like this because of him. He's done this to our squad, you know. Because this is a squad that's got Amad Diallo, yeah. This is a squad that's got Martial. This is a squad that's got Sancho in there. We can't blame him for Greenwood because that was probably a club decision and not a him decision. However, those are 4 players on our books, yeah, that are not playing for us right now. The front 3, and if you add Anthony, front 4 is there. That's by design. It's by design because he's the one that bought 2 of those players. He bought 2 of them. So when I'm looking at our attack and how bad they are, yeah, it's by design. It's not because he inherited this attack, bro. The squad looks like this by design. He brought in Amrabat. He brought in Mount. It's by design. He gave Bruno the armband. It's by design, bro. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we've got Ericsson who doesn't play. Kobe's playing great, but Christian Eriksen's good enough to play for us. But Bruno plays 96 minutes every single game. We've never seen Christian Eriksen in the 10 with the freedom that Bruno gets. But we've seen Christian Eriksen in a false 9 last season against Brentford. Like, bro, like, it's bewildering to me. The level of football that we're playing and the players that he's favoring. We've got Pelistri, I forgot about him, out on loan. Seems to be finding his feet well in Spain, yeah. Could not get no minutes for us, bro. None. He's a full international player, you know. Pelistri, but he was behind a player that doesn't get called up for the Argentina squad.
Yeah, he done well. He done well against Barcelona the other day. I can't lie, but I don't know, man. I think with Ten Hag, it's like if he was to like get sacked or leave, I think you'd always look at him as a manager that like he got the recruitment side of things so wrong. Like he wanted that power, he wanted that freedom, sign who I want, whenever I want, for however much. And I just think like, even though it's not something that's usually done at like big clubs where like the manager can literally just pick and choose. At the end of the day, if you get something out of them, no one will complain. Problem is like with Ten Hag is like every single signing that he's made, it's like you can always look back at them and think these guys are now a problem if you leave because they haven't shown anything to warrant staying here whilst you go. They're not even doing anything, to be fair, to warrant even starting under you. And it's a problem, I'll be honest, because I actually thought like as much as like he has cleared out some players, which I do agree with, the problem is that now he's leaving a lot behind, which I don't even want to see next year. Like, I always look at Anthony and just think, fam, we're not even getting 50% for him. Like, we're not even getting the £50 million for him. And it's the problem is I think he's on a 5-year deal, and
220 grand or something crazy like that.
he's hit the jackpot. I'll be honest, like, at the end of the day, like, I'm not trying to make it look like I'm like pocket watching or anything yet. I
Yeah.
understand. Like, if you're you're Brazilian, you've done only 2 years at Ajax, you weren't earning much. Now you get the jackpot move to Manchester United. Bro, I'm riding out that whole 5 years, fam. Like, I don't care. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
I've got a future, I've got a family. But the problem is, I'm not in his shoes. I'm in the shoes of a fan. And if you stick around, that might hold us back from signing a better player because of your wages, because of your this and your that. And it's a problem, man. I'll be honest. It's a big
Bro, he's
problem.
on 200 and something grand a week, and he's behind an 18, 19-year-old player that doesn't get called up for his international team. This is where we are, bro. Do you know what I mean? This is where we are as a club, and that's why, yeah, when I'm watching United now, yeah, it's actually crazy, bro. And like I was saying on the show with Lee, I was speaking to one of my guys based in Wales, and he's like in his 50s, and he went to watch the Newport game, and he's a Man United fan, lifelong Man United fan, and he's like, yo, this is the worst football I've ever seen United play. And he was just like, I was speaking to him yesterday, and he was literally saying to me, why every single week when we play a team are we the second best team on the pitch? I'm not used to it, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? And as much as people can put it down to the players, yeah, you can't really blame the players when you actually realize that our players are showing that in the attacking areas, as bad as we are, yeah, we've got more quality than the other side, because the other side will have more of the ball, more chances, and we'll still beat them. So it shows you that in terms of quality, as much as fair enough, these are some of the worst players that we've ever had at the club, yeah, we still have more quality in our squad than the majority of teams in this league, you know, like more genuine quality in attacking areas. Because if you look at how many games that we're winning by not being the better team, it's purely down to individual brilliance and players being able to turn up, like the Scott McTominay with the header, or like whatever Kobe Mino against Wolves or whatever. We're showing that we do have that in us. So why can't we do it consistently?
I think when it comes to Ten Hag, like, you can look at recruitment, you can look at like performances, and like, this is why, like, even though you can make a case United are now in like a top 4 race because of the results and everything, the only reason why I don't see it happening is, and this is like the main reason which maybe like turn on Ten Hag, it's structure, fam. Like, this is the best way to summarize it when it comes to Man United's overall structure. Yeah, like, without diving too deep into it, which team like deploys a high line in attack where the players press, but in return has a deep line defensively? Like, me just saying it, high line in attack, deep defensive line. Look at the gap in the middle, fam. Like, it's just like, when I was watching it against who did we play? Aston Villa. That first chance Villa got when somebody slid the ball into McGinn, first time pass, left foot into Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins took a bit too long to pull the trigger. I was like,
They went
in
straight
what
through the middle of
world?
us.
I was like, bro, in what world is he that open? B, has the time and space to, like, bro, like, he had all the freedom to make that pass the first time. You're supposed to be on his first touch. Like, he was that confident, he was that secure that he weighed up the pass, smashed it first time into Ollie Watkins. And then even then, like, Ollie Watkins should have scored that, but he took too long, like, to a point where Onana came out and closed him down. And I was just like, the gap is so big. And then it happened again. Like, Jacob Ramsey could have walked away with a hat-trick that day if he had better shooting boots. And that's what it is, bro. It's like, I don't really look at the attackers and that. I'm just like, the midfield is always open. Why? Because you're clearly telling the attackers to press. Sweet. Every manager presses. You're telling them to press. But the problem is, if you're going to push the team higher up to press, you need the midfielders to join in with the press. And then you need the defense to also push forward to, like, make the opposition half more congested, just to, like, suffocate them in their own half. The problem
But you
is,
can't do that with Harry Maguire.
I don't think it's Maguire. I think it's more.
No, but you can't play a high line with Harry Maguire. You cannot, bro. Because even, what was it? The Emerson chance where Harry Maguire got caught out.
Lost the ball,
Yeah, bro. This is what happens when you play high line with Maguire. Like, even Ange Postecoglou was like, I'm not playing Eric Dyer, bruv, because the way we play, he is a liability. He's a sitting duck. If we did want to play high line, I don't believe that the manager's not playing a high line because of Harry Maguire. I believe he's not playing a high line because he's a coward. However, Harry Maguire is not conducive to playing in that shape anyway. You understand football tactics. If you press from the front, you have to play a high line because the whole point of pressing, yeah, is condensing the space in which the other team can play in. So why would you press and then leave a hole in the middle of the pitch? It doesn't make sense. So when you see high pressing teams, that comes with a high line. Deep block teams drop off. You cannot press high and have a deep block, because then in the middle, your midfield gets cooked. And this is what happens to us every game. Our midfield gets overran every game, every single game. And then people want to blame the players. Oh, Cass's legs are gone. And then it was Amrabat in there. No matter who's in that single pivot for us, yeah, they get overran.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. High line, low defensive line. So it's the attackers are too high to drop off and help the midfield. The defenders are too low to step forward and help the midfield. So now you've got every midfielder practically fighting for their life. But that's why I said, like, I don't think it's a Maguire thing. I just think it's more him. Like, it's just he doesn't want a high line, because even in regards to like the press, bro, like if you're gonna press in it, yeah, surely you need the fullbacks to join in the press. Like if one of the wingers tucks in to press one of the centre halves, because there's two centre halves and we play with one striker. If one of the wingers tucks in, that fullback needs to be occupied by either. So if it's like down the right, Dalot needs to push forward. But of course, it's a gamble, because now it leaves the whole left channel for Man United open because Dalot's pushed forward. But that's where now you have to teach your team where either the six or like the midfielders drop deep or the centre half shuffles across. I look at shit like this and I'm like, cool. So we're not allowing the fullbacks to engage in the press because do you not trust the centre halves to cover the channels? Do you not trust the midfielders to drop deep? If that's the case, why? Because like you signed them, you're coaching them. Like what is it? That's why I look at it sometimes and I'm like, okay, cool, it's structure, but these are things that can be taught. Are they things that we're even rolling the dice with? Like, are we rolling that dice and saying, yo, sure, Dalot, push forward, join in the press? No. So it's just, that's why when you watch Man United, like I always say this, innit? Yeah, watch us when we press and watch how the opposition fullback is always open. Because once one of the wingers tucks in, we're always outnumbered. It's always a 3v4. So there's always one person out there, and it's funny, but it's getting frustrating, I'll be honest.
I don't even think they're being taught how to press either, because when you look at the body shape of our players when they press, it's all over the place. Like the worst way you can press is just by running directly at someone. Like you're supposed to be cutting off passing lanes. That's the whole point of pressing. Because if you just run straight at me, I'm just gonna step to the side. Like, do you know what I mean? Like anyone that likes taking players on, yeah, the best thing you can do as an attacker, yeah, is run at me, because you've just made up my mind for me, bro. Like I love when I'm running with the ball and players are running at me, because bro, I'll step past you every single time, because I can look at your body shape and just step past you. It's easy. When people actually cut off a certain part of the pitch and try and force you to go somewhere you don't want to go, that's where you don't want to be. So when you're pressing, you always have to have your body open and you have to be sending a player somewhere. These men just run towards the guy with the ball headlessly, bro. Rasmus does it. Bruno does it. Rashford does it sometimes. Do you know what I mean? But more times he don't really press. Do you know what I'm saying? And then Garnacho just runs at the player as well, but it's not really pressing. Man are just there. Like, there's no point being there. The whole point is when you press, you're supposed to be setting traps. If you watch how Barcelona used to press under Pep, you watch how Liverpool pressed as well with Mane, Salah and that, they were setting traps. They were setting traps so that they could hit you on the counter press. We're not setting no traps. We're just running. We're just running.
That's what it is, isn't it? And it's like, even if you flip it and look at it the other way, because like you can dominate the opposition in two different ways. Yeah, like you can dominate them by like pressing them, like setting traps, knowing, I don't know, like when a player has a ball on his weaker foot, that's when you press, or like what some teams do, which is the weak link in possession, don't press him because he's a weak link. He will probably give you the ball back. Yeah. So many things like that. But then it's like, I always like to say this, where it's like, if you don't press, you can still control the game because it's like your movement and your like structure and positioning off the ball can like manipulate the opposition in a sense where you now force them to make certain passes. So even though you're sat at home watching the game and you're seeing a pass being made and you're thinking, yeah, calm, 10-yard pass. In reality, it's all part of the plan because
Yep.
now you're getting the ball into areas where we can retrieve it off you. And I think with football, like it's all about like manipulation, whether you're on the ball or not. With Man United, the press isn't the best. So we can't manipulate in regards to our press. We can't manipulate in terms of shape. Like
Mm.
sometimes I watch Manchester City and I'm like, Man City are 2-1 up. They're not pressing anymore because it's risky. It's in the 80th minute. But it's like you see the positions that Bernardo goes into, and you're thinking, like, yo, you've just left that pass into the middle wide open. So,
Mm.
like, the opposition make that pass, but by the time the player's on their first touch, Rodri's already in behind them. So, in a sense, it's we're going to let you do that pass because it just makes it easier for us to get the ball off you.
Because it's
And
still a trap.
that's what it is, bro. So, it's like you either
Mm.
trap them by pressing them or you trap them by giving them the door for them to go through. But in reality, there's no way out. And it's like, that's what I like about football nowadays, which is like, even though it's very like system based, there's so many ways to like gain dominance. And with
Mm.
Ten Hag, it's like that's why he's annoyed me so much, man. Because you don't understand like the amount of reading and shit I've done on this guy. And it's like, I'm like, none of it. Like everything that I like about football, like traps, dominance, zones, like the geometry side of things, you haven't brought a single thing of it. Why? I don't know.
But this is it.
I
But
don't know
then he
why.
talks with so much chest as well, bro. That's why he winds me up. You know, like that, because we've won a few games here from being shit. And he'll come out and say, "Oh yeah, I told you, lot, you didn't believe me when I got my players back. We were gonna win games," and then
Mm.
saying, "Oh, like we can beat anyone and stuff." It's like, bro, what games are you watching? Like, what games are you watching, bro? Like, we're actually bad. Like, bro, there's nothing to celebrate right now. It's actually crazy. When I watch these man playing, they stink to high hell, bro. Watching them play, like we got played off the park against Aston Villa. The McTominay comes on, scores the header. A man's talking about, "I told you so," and that, bro. Like, this guy's actually he must be mentally ill, bro, because some of the things he says, yeah, with a straight face are concerning, bruv. They're concerning. And that's why I pray that these new owners, now this has been confirmed that this has gone through, yeah. I honestly hope that these men are looking at, I hope that Omar's looking at this team through the lens that he looked at Manchester City's team and he sees that, yo, this is not sustainable and it's not good enough. Do you know what I mean? The Brer said we could have won at Arsenal. We deserve to win there. No, we didn't, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? The Arsenal performance was one of the better performances for me, for the simple fact that it looked like we had a game plan against Arsenal. We were playing, we were keeping possession at the back, and we were trying to draw Arsenal onto us so we could go direct in behind, and it worked for the Rashford goal. And that was our game plan, and I could see it. But we don't have a game plan more times, like week in, week out. It's like, you know what? Hopefully, we'll just win the game. And if it's not working, we'll bring on McTominay for Mino, or we'll bring on McTominay for Casemiro, bro. It's the same subs. And then, oh, we're holding on at the end. Let's bring on 2 centre backs. That's what we're doing every week.
Mm. I think the problem is with Ten Hag is like the way he judges games is like in isolation, where it's like I knew for a fact he would say we could have beaten Liverpool because I'll be honest, if you look at the Liverpool game, Liverpool had no chances. We had one, which I think it was Hoyland, and like Allison saved it. So he's probably looking at it as who created the more clear cuts. We did. We deserve to win if we convert them.
Mm.
Similar to Arsenal. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he's alluding to the whole like because the Garnacho one is still split. Some people still think it was onside, some people still think it was offside. But he's probably looking at it and thinking, on another day, Garnacho scores on the 90th minute, Arsenal don't get back into it. But
Yeah.
it's a shame because it's like I don't look at it in isolation. I look at it like from minute 1 to minute 95, and it's like with Villa, fam. Like after we scored, I saw the drop off. Like I saw the joy they were getting in possession. I saw like it was just a matter of. And by the way, like as much as I think Onana had a good game, I don't think he had that good of a game. I think every shot was smashed straight at him.
It was, bro. Like, this
Yeah.
is it. The ball was hitting him, and he's overweight. So it's one of them ones where, like, this is the first time, yeah, that his excess body fat came that actually worked for him. You know, like that, because that guy can't dive, bro. You know what I mean? He looks like a walrus, bro. That's what he looks like in that goal. He can't move. Anything to the left or right of him is in. So it's
That's what it was. Because it's like, as much as I praised him, because I got used to an Onana where even if it's straight at him, it goes in. But it's like when I watched back the game, I was like, fam, I was like, in reality, every shot was straight at you. Like all you had to do was just stand there and then you make the save in it. But
mm,
yeah, on another day, Watkins walks out of it with a goal. Ramsey walks out of it with, I like Jacob Ramsey. He walks out of it with like 2 goals.
yeah.
And then it's like at the end of it is, why are they creating that many chances when in return we're not? And the funny thing is, this is an Aston Villa high line, which some teams have murdered this year. Like I
We
think
murdered them
Newcastle,
at home. At home.
Newcastle first game of the season, I think they spanked them like 5.
Mm,
Or like Villa have been cooked this year by some teams, and it's like with
mm.
Man United, I don't know, man. Like it's like 3 points is nice. I'll be honest. Like 3 points is 3 points, but can we go into the next game with the same game plan? No, because if you continue to be open in midfield, you will continue to concede opportunities. And the funny thing is, some other teams don't smash it straight at your keeper. They put it into the top corner, and
Mm.
that's where Man United get cooked.
But this is where we're gonna get our head cracked open very soon. And that's why when man are getting in their feelings because I weren't celebrating the Aston Villa win, yeah. It's like, bro, I feel like that most weeks watching Man United. There's nothing actually to celebrate. I'm not, like you said, you can watch football in isolated moments, which is what most football fans do now. These are highlight football fans. Like they don't understand
Mm.
the mechanics of football. They don't understand what they're watching. And then they're even more dangerous because they're watching a game that they don't understand. And then you arm them with statistics that make them believe that they're more intelligent than they are. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is what happens. And then people start saying, oh, look at the expected take-ons. We did this and the Jules won and all these things. We got absolutely cooked by Aston Villa. We got absolutely cooked. And the fact that we won that game was an absolute disgrace to football, bro. I'll be honest. And that's why when people are saying our Rants, we're in a top 4 race, like shout out Ty as well. Ty messaged me saying, "Oh, Rants, if we win the next game, like, oh, we're in the top 4 race, we need to chat." I said, the season finishes in May, blood. There's nothing to talk about. You know, like that. Because at the end of the day, yeah, if we finish above Spurs, Man City, Arsenal, yeah, or Liverpool, yeah, it's an absolute disgrace. It's a disgrace, bro. Like, just as a football fan, it's a disgrace. Because what we're doing right now, yeah, is jail worthy, blood, for what this manager's doing with these players. Like, if we finish above any of them 4 clubs, yeah, there's no justice in football, bro. Because what we're doing right now is criminal. Because we got a 0 goal difference. We could easily be 12th, and we couldn't complain. We
You know what
couldn't.
it is? I'm not gonna lie, the goal difference for me is so funny. Like I've never in my life, like I'm younger than you in it, yeah, but like I don't even think you've seen United.
I haven't.
Yeah, I've never seen that shit in my life. I'll be honest.
0.
Is it 0? Or is it in the bro? Whether it's 0 or in the
0
minus,
now,
it's
I think.
still
Because we scored, I believe it's 0 now. Do you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, we're on course to have a worse goal difference than last season. We're on
yeah.
course to have a worse goal scored than last season, and he spent 400 M's, bro. How is
Yeah,
this
that's
guy
it.
getting away with this?
You know what it is? I'm not gonna lie. I was even thinking about it the other day. I don't think he leaves in the summer. I'll be honest. I think because I was reading like on his like contract and shit. He's only got a 3-year contract, by the way. So
Yeah, he's only got a year left.
they're not gonna get rid of him. I'll be honest. They're gonna look at him and just be like, if we get rid of you, there's always gonna be that fly on the wall, which is you should have just given him his final year of his project. Because after 3 years, no one can say, oh, well, they'll be like, yo, 3 years. I'm assuming they're gonna spend about 200 this year. So 3 years, 600 M's. You had time to adapt to the league. You had time to understand the league. You had time to understand your players. You had enough time to implement a philosophy. At the end of your 3 years, you haven't done any. So it's just best to part ways. If he had like, let's say 4 more years to go, like when we sacked Oli still had 3 more. Made
Yeah.
sense. Ten Hag's only got 1 more year. I think he's got the whole of next season. If it does get bad, like in Feb, similar to how we are now, that's when I reckon they'll get rid of him and then get an interim till the end of the season. But bro, with 1 year to go, I think they're gonna look at him and be like, listen, we're gonna just ride it out and let you complete your whole process. So
Yeah, I don't. I say we're not going to get Champions League. He gets sacked. That's what happens. The reason why I say this is we've got Omar in now. We're going to announce the
Mm,
new director of football soon. The new director of football, they already know who it is. He's already been speaking to managers for sure. There's no way that you start a brand new project with the same manager, bro. Even Newcastle, they sacked Steve Bruce, blood. When,
mm.
bro, when the takeover came in, and Steve Bruce is a Geordie. And they said, all right, cool, I get it, but nah, bruv, you're gone. Like, I can't see these men coming in here, bringing in all new people above the manager and keeping the manager, especially the manager that's been given the freedom and also has it in his contract that he's going to be allowed to have certain says on players and all these other things. They're going to look at his contract and say, bun this contract, bro. I'm saying, like, what, the manager having signing off players? Nah, none of this in your contract, bro. You're not bringing in no one. You're not doing nothing. The contract is a farce. The contract is a farce. Like, even the fact that Ralph left here before he came in, and then it's in his contract saying that basically he can have his fingers in the recruitment pie. There's absolutely no way, yeah, I can see this brother staying here through a summer of recruitment and a summer of change. It would make no sense, even from a tactical point of view, a strategy point of view from the new owners, to keep a manager that's he's already formed bad habits. Do you know what I mean? It's like when I say to man them, like, if you're in a relationship, yeah, you can't be trying to change your gal 2 years into the relationship. You
It's
know,
too
like
late.
that. It's too
Mm.
late, bro. You can't meet your gal in the club, going out every weekend, and then 2 years later you say, actually, you know what, like, I don't really like the fact that you go out anymore. I don't like the way that you dress anymore. It's like, bro, you met me like this. Can't
Mm.
change your gal after 2 years, bro. You can't change Ten Hag, yeah, 2 years down the line and say, you know what, all the stuff you've been doing when you came here, yeah, you can't do that no more. You need to do it this way. He won't be happy. He's not going to perform at the level that he's going to want to. And also, you're not going to be happy with him because he's already built these very bad habits that are going to be near enough impossible, yeah, for him to shake off in a very short period of time, and you'll start getting pissed off with him. So I think they'll both end up resenting each other if he stays. The owners will resent him, he'll resent them. So I can't see it lasting past the summer.
I can. I'm not gonna lie, because I think it can go one of two ways. His payout is 15 m's, which isn't much.
Nope.
You know what it is? I think they'll go into the summer and they'll see which managers they can get, and I think
Mm.
it'll be one of those ones where, like, if there's no manager that like floats their boat, or like if there's no manager that like appeals to them, they might just turn around and look at Ten Hag and be like, listen, we saw what you done with a structure like at Ajax, where your primary job was just to coach. Transfers, we take care of it. Negotiations, we take care of it. Everything off the field, we take care of it. He done well at Ajax. I think they'll just give him that benefit of the doubt, which is you done 2 years under the Glazers, which not many managers have been successful under. It's not like we're going to commit to you for 3 years. It's literally 1 year. And at the end of the day, they might look at it and be like, listen, I ain't trying to pay this guy's 15 million buyout, because at the end of the day, I didn't appoint him.
Mm.
And 1 year, I've seen it done before. Like, bro, they'll just give him this 1 year and they'll be like, listen, this is your final chance, but just know if it goes sideways, you're out of the job by Jan, and we'll get that interim. Or because I'm trying to think, like, who can United really chat to in the summer, like that's attainable? The unemployed managers that are currently employed. I don't know who United can really get.
It depends, innit? It depends, but I'll be real, yeah. Whoever they go after, I believe it'll be with a project in mind, bro. Like, everything about this Ineos thing screams project. Even the fact that these men want to get underway with sorting out the stadium, um, the training ground, it sounds like project. It sounds like they already have a plan, and quality is what they want. They keep talking about the best in class, bro. Ten Hag is not that, bro. Do you know what I mean? So for me, we need good football, and they also talk about winning on the field, being they said that they want the football to become the focal point of this new
Mm.
project, because football hasn't been the focal point. Football has been taking a back seat to the PR, to the nonsense, to the selling shirts, Do you know what I mean? United care more about their social media than they do about the football. And they always have. They care more about their social media. They care about their social media presence and about PR and controlling the narrative around the football club than actually playing good football. So if they want to play good football, they have to go and get a manager that wants to play ball. I don't want Nagelsmann, guys. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't want Nagelsmann, but I do want a progressive manager. I want a manager playing progressive football. I do want that. And I believe we'll go and get that. I have to believe that. If these guys go out, put in place to develop a new stadium, new training ground, getting a new CEO, new director of football, and keep the same manager, I'll see it as, I don't know, I'd be bewildered. I'll be honest, because it wouldn't make no sense, because everyone's got to be on the same page. In order to have a project that works, there needs to be cohesion. There has to be. The manager's going to come out and say, yeah, I'd be happy to work with the new owners, but he has to say that. Do you know what I mean? But the new owners are bad news for him, the way he wants to run the club.
Yeah, you need unity across the whole board, like upstairs, downstairs, within the team. But yeah, the managers, I can't lie. If it's one of those ones where we're gonna have to go out and get someone this summer, bruh, I know they'll look at Potter. I don't know why I have this dirty feeling, which is they're gonna try to go down this like whole like English route, like a manager that's like experienced with the league, one that can like handle the press, one that can like speak the
But they
language.
they did say that even with the director of football, they're gonna go down the foreign route. So maybe they're gonna go down yeah. There's rumors saying that they're going down the foreign route. So pretty much ruled out Ashworth, and they're saying that we're looking at the brother that was at Bayern. There was a brother that was at Roma, and some next guys. So it's not debate. It's not debate.
If we get Ashworth, then I reckon it opens the door to the Zerbi. I think it does, because he worked with him at Brighton, and he, like the Zerbi showed, regardless of who you bring to the table in terms of signings, I will get something out of them. And, well, to be fair, Ashworth did work for Potter as well. So
that's it.
I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to like who he thinks can handle. The problem is with Potter there's a problem with both, which is Potter, there's always that question mark, which is he done that step up to a top team. It didn't work out. Now, I don't think people turn around and look at Potter and apply any context to why he failed, because I think he was like set up to fail over there.
Yeah, same, because Poch is failing now.
Bro, there's only one common denominator. Like every manager over there has failed. And it's like when I'm reading reports that when Potter was in charge, there was a 32-man squad and the changing room could only hold about 25. And
yeah, man, we're getting changed outside
in corridors. Yeah, bro, like that is ludicrous. And it's like, I always use this example, which is if you were a teacher and you wanted to teach a class something, you would rather have a smaller class because it's easier to get your message across. Imagine having 31 players, bearing in mind 50% of them are new signings that God knows what they were promised. Like when you sign a player, they do ask, what's my role? Like, am I on the bench? Am I for the future? Am I a starter? I don't know what Todd's told these man. Imagine he's told every single one of them, you're part of the first team picture and you're going to be starting week in, week out. But come match day, you're on the bench. It's a problem. And yeah, Poch is failing. So with Potter, if you apply the context, you see he was like set up to fail in my eyes. The Zerbi, the problem is he's never done that step up. So it is a massive gamble. It's a gamble that eventually one club is going to have to take on him. But both have been successful under Ashworth.
Yeah, facts. The rumor is that Newcastle wouldn't let Ashworth go anyway, and if so, he would have to do the gardening leave thing, I believe. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll get Ashworth, but I'd 100% I would take the Girona manager. I'd take him. I really would. I would take something left field, yeah, if it means that we have a philosophy, bro. Like, I miss having a manager with a philosophy, bro. Since Van Gaal, we ain't had a manager that said, yo, we're going to play ball. We're going to play ball regardless. And I need that, bro. I need that in my life, bro. Even if it takes time, bro. Because I want to actually enjoy watching us play, even if we're not winning every week, bro. Because the thing is, I've always maintained, yeah, I've watched Man United win so many things, yeah, that it's like, I'm cool if we don't win something for a season or 2 seasons, but bro, I want to
Mm.
enjoy watching my football team. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I would happily swap place with Tottenham right now, yeah, and have my team playing Tottenham's football and know that I'm not going to win nothing this season, but I'm going to enjoy every game I watch. I'd take that right now for a season, bro, because we're Man United. Eventually, we're going to win stuff anyway. But have an identity, know what kind of football you're going to play, know that it's going to be exciting, know that every time we get the ball, we're going to try and score, know that we're going to try and win the game, regardless. Even if we got 9 men, we're still going to try and win the game. Bro, give me some more of that rather than us stinking the place out, yeah, and scoring last minute winners, and I'm supposed to get carried away with that, bro. Like that makes no sense.
Yeah,
We're playing like Luton. We're playing like Luton should be playing. Luton play better football than us, but we're playing like we're trying to survive.
but you know what it is? That's like I remember I said this once under Ollie, which was like Man United play a relegation football, but with a team of Galacticos. Like
Mm,
Ollie had say the betterish players, but that's always been the problem at Man United, which is like your point managers that Ten Hag did have a play style, but for whatever reason he didn't stick to it. Ollie didn't have a play style. I think David Moyes' play style just wasn't cut out for the top football. Jose's was more obsolete in the modern game. LVG I liked, but LVG's football just lacked bite in attack. He just didn't have that penetration because
he didn't have the players.
he had like RVP in his 30s, Rooney in his 30s, Falcao on like 50 ACLs or so. Just
Young Martial, young Rashford. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's what he had. They were young. So he
mm,
never really had the attackers. And he had Di Maria, yeah, for one season, yeah, that didn't suit the way he played because Van Gaal was about possession football and Di Maria was spamming like Bruno and he didn't like it. Do you know what I'm saying?
that's the thing. So it's like the Girona manager, I like him, but it's like at the same time, I need to see more. To be fair, I haven't read on him that much. Like I only really like to speak on managers that like I've read up on and watched. But if United are gonna like roll the dice on someone, it's a crazy shout. I'll be real. Like it's only like 6 months tax, yeah. But I'm taking Thiago Motta, fam. He's cooking at Bologna, fam. I'll be real, but
Yeah, but it's in Italy though. It's different, bro.
it's a long shot. I'll be honest. Like even if he comes, I reckon I'd still be on the fence with him. But it's like he's one guy that's shown me I can get it going, but that's like long shot, long shot. But yeah, there are managers out there. Like I'll be real. I'm on the De Zerbi train. I'll be real. Like, I know a lot of
Mm,
people don't like it because it's very high risk. Like you either win and you
mm,
destroy them, or you lose.
yeah.
But I'll be honest. I look at the Zerbi and think, listen, you're only as good as the players that you have. And
Yeah,
when you
agreed. Agreed.
when you go from Caicedo to Baleba, massive drop off. When you go from McAllister to Dawood, massive drop off. Yeah, and it's like I think the Zerbi with better players can get it going. It's just the Zerbi defensively. Like I think his entire philosophy doesn't really focus on having a pragmatic side to you. And I think every top manager has to have a pragmatic side to them, as long as it doesn't like overtake or like dominate your philosophy. That's the only thing I look at the Zerbi and think
I,
you're
I I
gonna
don't
be.
agree, you know. I don't agree, you know. I don't think you need to have a pragmatic side at all. I just think that you need to make sure you got the players, you know, like that. And that's it. Horses for courses. Because think about it this way, yeah. You can play the same kind of football, but if you put Wan-Bissaka at right back instead of Dallo, automatically you've got a more defensive right back. So you don't need to change the way you play. You've just got someone more defensively responsible at right back. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna play the same way, but because I know that you've got a left winger that I've kind of have to worry about, I just play Wan-Bissaka instead. But we're gonna play the same football, but I've got a bit more defensive responsibility, and I might lose a little bit more attacking wise, but I don't need to change the way I play. You just change the profile of the player. So if the Zerbi's got better centre backs, he's gonna have a better defensive record by default because he's got better players.
Yeah, I
He got
think
better players.
yeah, players play a massive part. Like similar to like Baleba to Caicedo. Baleba is not good. Like he's a nice prospect, but he's not ready to be starting week in week out. If he's not starting, like you've got makeshift players playing. Like I don't know, Van Hecke steps into midfield. I like Van Hecke to be fair, but he steps into midfield. But with De Zerbi, it's only because like I've seen so many interviews of his where he's like, at the end of the day, I go out there to score. And as much as I like it, like it's this whole, we're gonna go out there to outscore the opposition. So it's no problem if you score 2. I'll make sure my team scores 4. I just
Mm-hmm.
look at it and think, at a top team, you need to show that side to your game where sometimes if it's not going to plan, or let's be real, if you come up against another top team, there's no guarantee you're getting 4 opportunities. If you're 1
No,
nil
there
up,
isn't.
set up the team in a way where they are compact. But to be fair, I think maybe I am being harsh on him because last year when he did have the Caicedos and that, they did like grind out results. Like that's how they got European football. These men finished top of their group in the Europa League with
Mm.
Ajax, Marseille, and I think the Athens team. But Zerbi, I like. I'll be honest. Like I'd love to see him with better players, but
Better
even then,
players.
they need to be intelligent. That's one thing he asks for the most, like
But he
intelligent,
would bring in those
hungry
players,
players.
and also we wouldn't be spending as much money on these players either, bro, because he can get better players at Man United than he can get at Brighton. Do you know what I mean? And he wouldn't necessarily be going for the name brand players. And by the looks of it, from the DOF and the CEO, looks like we're not going to go down that route anyway. We're not going to go down the name brand route. We're not going to go down that route to sign players. We're going to do what Ralph has been saying: go and get the players on the first contracts. This is what we should be doing as a club with Man United. Don't get me wrong. If a big name comes up and he's available, like a Harry Kane, like at the time, then you go get them. But other than that, you do what Man City do, and you don't break the bank for players that ain't worth it, and you keep the wage structure consistent. You keep how much you're willing to spend with players consistently, and be willing to walk away from teams when they're taking the piss.
Let me throw a manager at you because this is a manager that I've always had a feeling United will get. Like it's just I don't know when, I don't know how. I've always felt like Tuchel has United written all over him.
I hate him, bro.
Oh,
Like seeing what he's doing to Bayern Munich right now is infuriating me, bro. Like I
yeah.
hate him, bro. Like I hate him, bro. Like for me, he's a Chelsea manager because he's mad pragmatic. Man United managers shouldn't be pragmatic, really. Like I don't like it. It's crazy. Like when I think of Man United managers, yeah, I think that Postecoglou's a Man United manager.
Mm.
He plays Man United football, bruv. Like every time they get the ball, they just want to score. And they're passing quickly and they're passing forward and they just want to score, bruv. Like he's a Man United manager. If I could think of any manager in football right now that's a Man United manager, he's a Man United manager.
You know what it is? You see with Ange is very similar to what I was saying about De Zerbi, which is he just goes out there to attack. And that's
Exactly.
why I still stand by. Like, I think you still need a bit of pragmatism because it's like, Tottenham have conceded more goals than Man United. And it's like they go out there to play, but defensively, that high line from minute 1 to minute 95 constantly being deployed. Fullbacks always tucking in, whether you're 1-0 up or 5-0 up. I'll be real, like against certain teams, you pay the price for it. And that's why with Ange, I admire what he's done offensively. I really do. Like, especially
Yeah, but
first
look at their
season.
defenders though, bro. Like when you look at it, yeah, like remember Van der Ven, yeah, they've just brought in.
Mm,
Udogi is his first season starting week in, week out for Spurs. Romero, I think he's overrated. I don't rate Romero.
really? I think
I
he's
don't
good.
rate him. I just think he's a hatchet man, bro. He just kicks people in it. But like in terms of like he doesn't read danger, bro. He's a reactive defender. I don't like reactive centre backs. I like proactive centre backs. I like centre backs that read danger and step in and win the ball. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't like defenders that are on the floor too much. It's usually a bad sign. When you look at collectively the defense, the goalkeeper has been surprisingly a decent signing.
Steve McCall, yeah, they got.
I think Vicario has been good, but bro, like Man United can do so much better than that, player for player, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? In terms of like the back five, if we recruit well, like the ceiling of the players that Ange can get at Tottenham's a lot lower than what we can get because we're Manchester United. I genuinely believe if you get Ange better players, yeah, he can only be better. He can only be better, even with the
Yeah,
same style of play.
yeah, you could look at it one of two ways, but I think with me, it's like similar to how when he had injuries, like everybody thought he was going to throw his philosophy in the bin. Like there was I think for like one whole month he played 4 left backs. Dave, not left back, sorry, like four fullbacks. Yeah, Davies, Emerson, Royale. Everybody thought he'd throw like his structure in the bin, but he stuck to it. But it's like
And they still won games.
he still won games. But that's why I look at him more and think, you know what? If you weren't willing to throw your philosophy with injuries, suspensions, AFCON, why do you continue to be so like open? Like teams can attack you in it, and I don't think it's a matter of giving better players. That's why I'll be honest. Like with Ange, I'm gonna watch him next year because I feel like first season syndrome. Yeah, like I'm not even trying to like disrespect him or like make it look like he's fluking it, but it's like, do you remember when like Chris Wilder brought Sheffield United first
Yeah, he
season?
had
Bro, I
them
was hearing
balling.
shit like, bro, I was hearing shit like give him the England job. He's gonna get them European football. Following season, everybody figured them out. Everybody figured out their weaknesses. Homeboy got relegated and got sacked. And I'm not
Mm.
saying that's the road that like Ange is gonna follow, but I just think next year with Ange, he's gonna have to show a side to his game, which is I'm taking the 1-0 at Villa Park rather than 1-0, but I'm still going for the second because eventually that might be the reason why you drop points. But now
Mm.
Ange's done well, I'll be honest. Like these are just like little question marks I have with him. But now he's done well, bearing in mind it's his first season in the Prem.
Yeah, I just think honestly, I think when you have good enough players, you don't even need to think about being pragmatic. Not really. You don't. Do you know what I'm saying? Like how often, yeah, how often if you watch like a Pep side, for instance, very, very rarely does he worry about the other team. Because he
Mm.
doesn't have to. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. So sometimes managers that are very, very rigid, like the De Zerbis and like the Anges, they would do better at better teams with better players because then they don't need to think about the opposition. Do you get what I'm saying? I feel like pragmatic managers are better suited for teams that are the underdog teams, if that makes sense.
No, I get you. I get you. That's the thing. Like, it can always go one of two ways, isn't it? Yeah, but it's like, yeah, he can go in, and it's like with Pep in it. Yeah, like he's got the players where I think it's like in-game experience also plays a part, which is like I don't see Pep screaming at his team when they're 1-0 down, telling them, yo, like sit back and now let's just kill the sting of the game, fam. 5 minutes of killing the sting of a game, it
Mhm.
makes a lot of difference in it. Yeah. Some teams score one goal, go for the other. Sometimes killing the sting of the game, it helps you a lot in the long run. It's like it's all about getting players that are experienced, that know when to kill it, that know when to go forwards, that know when to retain, that know when to take the risky passes. And yeah, and you'll have to show that to his side of the game. Like at the moment, I still think he's got good players. Like I think like the Basumas, like the SARS, they've all done well this year. But I just want to see next year, like when teams know how he's going to play, like from minute one. Like this year,
Mm.
he's caught everyone by surprise, in it. And you see a lot of managers that do that. Like for example, as much as I'm petitioning for him, yeah, like the Zerbi last year, but like the Zerbi this year, everybody knows he wants you to press him. That's literally De Zerbi's entire play
Mm.
style from when he was at like Sassuolo. I want you to press me because that's how you open the door for me to play around you. But
Yeah.
when Villa didn't press him, Villa went on to win like 6-1.
Yeah,
So
but this is why when Villa don't press you, you still need to. If you're in a better team, you still got players that can win you the game. But
yeah,
he
game
doesn't have
sense,
that.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, he'll have that at a better team. You see, and that's why I believe that like your plan B can be your players, just like Pep's plan B is his players.
He
When
even
Pep's
said it,
style of play is
funnily
not
enough.
working, yeah, his plan B is De Bruyne to Haaland, bruv. That's the plan B. You know,
No,
like that. Or the plan B is Phil Foden, or the plan B is Rodri, boom, edge of the box, top corner. That's his plan B. Pep's plan A
no.
is his system, and his plan B is his players winning the game, innit? Whereas our plan A is the players.
Yeah, it's plan B can always be your players winning you the games or your players seeing out a game.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what I mean, bro. Like it can definitely go one of two ways, but you learn more about managers the more you watch them. But yeah, now with Pep, like he even said it about KDB, where he's like KDB's now reached a stage where 20 minutes or 90 minutes, he's having an impact on games, and like he'll bring on KDB for 20 minutes and he'll win him a game like he did against Newcastle. So
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing wrong with relying on players because at the end of the day, like top quality players, you sign them for how good they are in terms of like being tactically astute, in terms of their technical ability, their intelligence. But at the same time, you do sign that individual brilliance which they bring, which other players don't. So it's
Mm.
it's another avenue of scoring goals. That's what it is.
No, 100%. You know what I mean? Oh, you lot. Big up everyone that's supported the show. Make sure you smash the likes in it. Make sure you subscribe to HAG Ball as well. You know what I mean? Closing in. Yeah, bro, you're starting to be a lot more consistent. I'm seeing you online a lot more
Yeah.
now. You get me? So you lot make sure you subscribe to the channel, man, for some proper football chat, bro. You know what I mean? It's very few and far between in this space, man. So big up everyone. Make sure you subscribe. The link to his channel is in the title. What you got coming up, bro?
I'm gonna do a watch along for the Madrid game and then just talk footy on there.
That's what I mean. So yeah, you lot keep an eye out for that. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I need to go pick up my brother from the airport now because he's in Vegas, innit, for the Super Bowl. So yeah, man, I should be back later to do a Champions League watch along, but it depends on the bloody traffic, bruv. Like it's rush hour now,
Yeah,
blood.
it's rush hour now, it's peak.
By the time I get him and then drop him home and then make my way back home, blood, it might be late. I don't know, innit? So
What, Heathrow or another one?
yeah, Heathrow. So it's close to me, but then I
Yeah.
have to drop him home and then get back to my house, blood. So I'm gonna spend more time in traffic than driving. You know how London is, bruv.
At least it's Heathrow, not Stansted or
Yeah.
Gatwick. Then you would have
Yeah.
been pissed. I'll be real.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So do you know what I'm saying? Nah, big up everyone inside. Make sure you subscribe to Haji's channel, people. And yeah, man, I'll catch you guys back here